In 1818, Abraham Lincoln lives with his parents, Nancy and Thomas, who work at a plantation owned by Jack Bartz. There, Lincoln befriends a young African-American boy, William Johnson, and intervenes when he sees Johnson being beaten by an overseer. Because of his son's actions, Thomas is fired. That night, Lincoln sees Bartz break into his house and attack Nancy. She dies shortly afterwards. Thomas tells Lincoln that Bartz poisoned Nancy. 9 years later, a vengeful Lincoln attacks Bartz at the docks, but Bartz, who is actually a vampire, overpowers him. However, before Bartz can kill him, Lincoln is rescued by Henry Sturgis. Sturgis explains that vampires exist and offers to teach Lincoln to be a vampire hunter. Lincoln accepts and, after a decade of training, travels to Springfield, Illinois. During his training, Sturgis tells Lincoln that the vampires in America descend from Adam, a vampire who owns a plantation in New Orleans with his sister, Vedoma. Sturgis also tells Lincoln of the vampire's weakness, silver, and presents him with a silver pocket watch. In Springfield, Lincoln befriends shopkeeper Joshua Speed and meets Mary Todd. Though Sturgis warned him not to form any close relationships, Lincoln develops romantic feelings for Mary. Lincoln successfully finds and defeats Bartz. Before dying, Bartz reveals that Sturgis is also a vampire. Lincoln confronts Sturgis, who reveals that, many years ago, he and his wife were attacked and bitten by Adam. She died because her soul was pure, but because Sturgis was impure, he became a vampire, and that prevented him from harming Adam or any other vampire, since only the living can kill the dead. Sturgis has since been training vampire hunters, hoping to destroy Adam. Disappointed, Lincoln decides to abandon his mission. However, Adam learns of his activities and kidnaps Johnson to lure Lincoln into a trap at his plantation. Adam captures Lincoln and tries to recruit him, revealing his plans to turn the United States into a nation of the undead. Speed rescues his friends, and they escape to Ohio. Lincoln marries Mary and begins his political career, campaigning to abolish slavery. Sturgis warns Lincoln that the slave trade keeps vampires under control, as vampires use slaves for food, and if Lincoln interferes, the vampires will retaliate. After Lincoln is elected President of the United States of America, he moves to the White House with Mary, where they have a son, William Wallace Lincoln. William is later bitten by Vedoma and dies. Confederate President Jefferson Davis convinces Adam to deploy his vampires on the front lines. Lincoln orders the confiscation of all the silverware in the area and has it melted to produce silver weapons. Speed, believing that Lincoln is tearing the nation apart, defects and informs Adam that Lincoln will transport the silver by train. On the train, Adam and Vedoma, who have set fire to the upcoming trestle, attack Lincoln, Sturgis, and Johnson. During the fight, Adam learns that the train holds only rocks. Speed reveals that his betrayal was a ruse to lure Adam into a trap, and Adam kills Speed for this. Lincoln wraps his silver watch around his fist and punches through Adam's chest, killing him, and Lincoln escapes the exploding train alongside his allies. Meanwhile, Mary and the ex-slaves have transported the silver to Gettysburg through the Underground Railroad. It is here that Vedoma is killed by Mary. The now leaderless Confederate vampires stage a final, massive assault and are met head-on by the Union. Armed with their silver weapons, the Union soldiers destroy the vampires and eventually win the war. Nearly 2 years later, on April 14, 1865, Sturgis tells Lincoln that the remaining vampires have fled the country. Sturgis tries to convince Lincoln to allow him to turn Lincoln into a vampire, so that he can become immortal and continue to fight vampires, but Lincoln declines and leaves for the theater with his wife, apparently implying he is soon to be assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. In modern times, Sturgis approaches a man at a bar in Washington, as he once approached Lincoln.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more Hollywood movie explanations. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.